unywede chai? Look, naija pai.
Na kubobe kamfale to.
Yes, Mkuluji. Morning, morning. I'm okay. Morning. Yes, morning, morning. It's okay. So, we are good to go?
Okay.
Let them first put themselves together. Yes,
When you are done, you let us know.
No, it seems they are still putting themselves together. Okay. It's down, eh? We get another? Get me that. Oh. This one is slightly better. Okay. So we go. Okay. Good morning, my colleagues from the Fourth Estate. You are welcome once again to Police Headquarters. We shall always continue thanking you for coming. Monday. Today I have just a few stories, but I would wish to begin, and it is generated around a mob justice which occurred on 5th June in Nakawa Division. On 5th June, at around 1400 hours, police registered a case of mob justice. I don't know why even I'm calling it mob justice. Actually, it's mob action in Nakawa Division in Kampala City. You are all aware that one Sidin Gongodio, a 27-year-old male, a professional rugby player and a resident of Simbati Zone, Najera, in Wakiso District, was allegedly, it's no longer now just an allegation, but he was attacked and severely beaten by a group of mainly border riders and other members of public on suspicion of theft. As police, we responded to information as soon as we got it regarding the mob action, and upon arrival at the scene, Sydney was found critically injured but still alive. We rushed him to Mulago Referral Hospital for medical attention, where he succumbed to his injuries. A team of police officers from Kampala Metropolitan Police visited the scene and documented it. We have been carrying out a number of investigations. The hunt for suspects is on, and we are glad that the public has picked very keen interest in even identifying the suspects. So far we have 3 in custody, but more, especially those whom you see actively in participation, shall be arrested. They can't hide, or their hiding is very temporary. Now, as Uganda Police Force, we strongly condemn acts of mob justice or mob action. Such actions, and I have repeatedly said it, are unlawful. They undermine the rule of law and often result in the loss of innocent lives. We urge all members of public to restrain from taking the law into their own hands under any circumstances. If you have to arrest a suspect, if it is a must, then you must surrender them to the police without resorting to torture or any form of harm. Members of public are reminded that participation in mob action constitutes a serious criminal offense and may lead to charges, including murder. We warn the public also against joining lynch mobs, as some individuals exploit situations to target innocent people with malicious intention. There are criminals out there who sometimes target their victims and disguise all that as action against a suspected criminal. So do not be lured to be part of a lynch mob. We have registered these kind of cases before. I think a case almost similar to this was the death of an accountant of, was it Case Hospital? Yes, where they burnt him and tried to disguise that he was a criminal, although in that case the suspects were arrested. An investigation was carried out, only to realize that this was an innocent person who the criminals were simply targeting money which he had withdrawn from the bank. When I was going through the record, I noticed that in the year 2025, if you read our annual crime report, out of 4,238 cases of homicide we registered, 950 cases of them were a result of mob action, which represents 22.4%. Now, this is not a good statistic. If out of all the people who were murdered, 950 met their fate in the hands of mobs. Now, this is an ugly statistic. On 19th August 2024, I issued a public warning against mob justice. I repeated the same on 5th November 2024. The same in December 2024. I will also remind you of notable incidents, like on 5th December, you recall, one Jacob Akankwasa, an employee of Chambogo University, was murdered in a similar manner near the Catholic shrine in Namugongo. I would like to reiterate the same voice. Of course, there are people saying, why should you only talk? No, we are taking action. The 3 who are in our custody can attest that they are going to face music. There are other photos that have been brought into social media space. Those fellows, I am certain we shall do whatever it takes to get them. But these are my, this is my clarion call. You will participate in mob action until when we get you and you realize how dangerous and how it can cost you your future. Equally, would like to say, give somebody an opportunity to be examined on whether he is guilty or innocent. I have already said that our experience as law enforcement officers, there are people who are entangled in these mob action or lynch mob actions. When you find the person is extremely innocent, but one, he can't defend himself. He can't defend himself. There are people when subjected to this kind of mob action, one, lose words, lose the ability to defend himself and explain their side of the story. Thirdly, usually the pain is very excruciating that the person does not even have the guts to defend himself. So we feel Sydney must have been in the same situation, where a bunch of very unreasonable fellows gang on you, don't give you a time to defend yourself, don't give you an opportunity to say anything, but simply subject you to justice, in quotes, of their own kind and measure. Now, this kind of behavior must be condemned and must be fought. There are people who have talked about the border industry. Of course, I would request that we tackle this matter with sobriety. The people who did it were not sober, but we should be. Now, let's not condemn the entire border industry simply because some members within the industry conducted themselves in a wanton manner. There are so many good border riders out there. It is also true that their industry is in a state of quagmire. It demands that the state comes in and puts it in order. But when all that is in the offing, let's not condemn innocent members of the border industry. Because this is exactly what we are condemning. The blanket condemnation of people is what amounts to mob action. So I saw a number of our brothers on social media ranting against the entire border industry. There are so many very good people, and this should be the message in all areas of trade. One day you find it's a police officer committing an offense. You don't need to commit the entire police to blanket sentence. It could be a journalist. It could be a Catholic priest. It could be a mulokole. Now, what public really needs to appreciate, it could be a university professor. What public needs to appreciate in common is that crime is individual. It may even have been committed by more than one person, but that person does not represent any creed, does not represent sex, tribe, ethnicity, profession, because in all those trades of life emphasize decorum, good conduct, and general good conduct. So that is my clarion call. Otherwise, I would like to cap it up by saying that the investigations are still on. Police is cognizant of the fact that this is a matter of public concern, and that we shall do everything that it takes to ensure that we hold the people who are involved to account. Let me go to the second issue. It is also an issue of public concern. It is in respect to vandalism of electricity infrastructure. I would like to bring to your attention that we have intensified operations to combat persistent acts of vandalism targeting electricity infrastructure. This time round, we've done it in Mukono district. Areas of Chisoga, Chigombya, Wantoni, and Kauga have recently experienced incidents of criminal activity involving cutting of ABCs, those are aerial bundled cables, and the destruction of electricity installations, causing significant losses to government and disrupting power supply to a number of communities. So acting on intelligence regarding a group of criminals engaged in vandalizing these ABC cables from poles, an operation was conducted on 5th June 2026 at around 3 a.m. So our officers conducted an ambush or mounted an ambush at the suspect's exit point in Chigombya Cell, Namumira Ward, Central Division, Mukono Municipality, as the suspects attempted to move towards Wantoni town. During the operation, 3 suspects were intercepted. 1 managed to escape, but 2 were successfully arrested. The suspects were identified as Mubiru Roni, a male adult, 25 years old, who is a driver. Kayondo Jamil, a male adult, 21 years old, a boda rider. The motorcycle used in the commission of the crimes and the exhibits, including a roll of ABCs, were recovered and are currently in our custody. The investigations are going on to fully establish the extent of criminal network and apprehend all suspects around that network and that one who escaped. Now, our call, we appeal to members of public to support our efforts against vandalism. We call upon that you immediately report any suspicious activities around the electricity poles, because these fellows come and do some kind of reconnaissance. So report to the nearest police, to the area LOCs, or even to the utility company, the Uganda Electricity Distribution Company Limited. Now, the other, which I always mention, avoid buying or dealing in suspected stolen electrical materials, such as these ABC cables, transformers. I even hear people who deal in transformer oil, related equipment. Because should we get you, we shall not entertain your argument of that you didn't know. Sometimes we hear things like, we should sensitize you, that we should sensitize you not to deal in stolen property. Surely? Work closely with us and UEDCL to share timely information. I would like to thank the residents who shared with us intelligence, but equally want to also alert you that the operations are still going on. So the residents of Chisoga, Chigombya, Wanton, and Kauga, please stay alert as we continue in our operation. Lastly, is in respect to the registration of candidates for PLE, UCE, and UACE. UNEB has been very, very good at giving you information in respect to activities around our students who are registering for PLOE, UCE, and USCE. But out of public interest, I just want to add a small voice, but very, very important. Very, very important. Our brothers and sisters, the headmasters, the school administrators, don't say we didn't tell you. If you receive money of a candidate or a potential candidate for registration, remit it to where it is supposed to go, and that is UNEB. We are tired of incidents where students give you their money, then you misappropriate it, or what people informally call eating it. Don't eat the money, in quotes. Don't misappropriate it. We shall arrest you and we shall disorganize you. This time we want to give you this one in a very strong and very firm way of communication, that we are coming for you. We shall not entertain your excuses. We shall bound you and throw you under bars. We shall incarcerate you. It is not okay to get these humble souls of young candidates wanting to have their future, then you kill, you destroy their entire year. A PLE, an average PLE candidate is a 12-year-old, 12, 13. Now, Mr. Headmaster or Mrs. Headmistress, we are coming for you. So this is the message. It must be strong. Because I am here communicating, you wait when you start registering on Agatali Konfufu. Headmaster yali de sente z'abaana. So, I've been asked to send this message in a very strong manner. Thank you. I think let me give you the Uganda version. Tujja kutandika ne case ene ya mob action. Manyi nti waliwo sportsman omututumufu mu mizanyo gya rugby amanyiddwa nga Sydney Gongodio nga mwana wa myaka 27. Abantu ab'emyoyo emibi bamukakanako nga 5 June 2026 nti bali bamuteebereza mu bubbi, ne bamukakanako, ne bamukuba, ne bamutta. Era famire ye badde mu bulumi bw'amaanyi. Currently emitimbagano egya social media n'amawulire gabadde garwaninga story eno eya Sydney. Tuze tulabula abantu ku kintu kino ekya mob justice, era tujja kukiddamu. Tujja balabula naye nga n'okubakwasaamu ku mukono gw'ekyuma nakyo nga bwe tutaddeko, nti tetujja kukkiriza abantu okubeerawo nga mukakana ku muntu nti kubanga mumuteebereza okwenyigira mu buzi bw'emisango then mwe ne mwefuula kooti. Guno omuze guzze gulinya. Nabadde ntunula mu statistics zaffe eza annual crime report gye twabawa nga eya 2025 Uganda ya registeringa obusi oba mu luzungu kye tuyita homicide emisango 4,238 naye ku misango gino 950 950 oba obutundu 22 22% yali ya mob justice. Kati kino kiba kiraga nti obubonero si bulungi, nti kiba kiraga abantu balooza basobola okutwalira amateeka mu ngalo. Era kino kijja erife wano okulaba nti abantu abakola emisango gino egya mob justice tulina okubakwatamu n'amaanyi. Ekirala, of course tujja kukola n'okusomesa, because we need to educate some of these fellows. Ensomesa usually eba ya kubategeeza bintu bibiri. Ekisooka nti ekintu kyokola one kimenya mateeka, ate bwe kiba kimenya mateeka kiba kitegeeza kiyinza okuteeka mu buzibu bwe tukukwatako. Ekyokubiri is that oba olemesa poliisi n'ebitongole ebinoonyereza okuinteractinga n'omuntu ono gwe wosuspectinga nti azizza omusango, okulaba yazizza omusango oba nedda. Bw'aba yazizza ne baani, yakoze ekiddala. Then n'ekirala, omuntu bw'aba azizza omusango yes alina okubonerezebwa, naye si gwe omuvuzi wa bodaboda omulimu gwe okusaabaza abantu kubajja mu kitundu kimu kubatwala mu kirala. Teri yali akuwadde obuyinza obubonereza. Of course tutera n'okubalaba ku stage zammwe nga muyiira abantu amazzi mubanaaza kifuba. Actually mu industry ya bodaboda mulimu abamenyi b'amateeka bangi, naye ate n'ekirala twagala okukubiriza abantu. Nalabye ku mitimbagano ng'abantu beetisse aba bodaboda. No, it is not okay okulooza nti buli owa bodaboda mumenyi w'amateeka. Abamenyi b'amateeka bali buli mu kitundu kya oba mu nkola y'abantu yonna. Mu kyaki bw'ogendayo ojja kubasangayo, mu bakwasisi b'amateeka ojja kubasangayo, mu bakyala, mu basajja, so in whatever category of life, mu balokole, so ne mu babodaboda gye bali. Naye kyetwagala jase okubiriza abantu is that mugezeeko nnyo okulaba nti mugondera amateeka. Nzize ebbanga gwanvu nga njogera ku kintu kino ekya mob justice. Era I remember on 19th August 2024 twali wano nga tukyogerako nga mumaze okutta abantu bangi. On 5th November same thing 2024 wano. December 5th 2024 just all those were just in 1 year. Era still mob neta one Jacob Akankwasa nga akola ne Kyambogo University ndozoba yali basa bamutira kumpi ne Catholic Shrine na Mugongo. So bawanayinchi muze mutta abantu and which is not good. Naye tugenda kubakwasa muko kumanyi. Era kati nga bano abasatu betuyina endoza mumanye ekigenda okubaawo. Then waliwo n'ogusajja gwe balaga ku kifaananyi. Abo bonna tubanoonya. All those rogues must be arrested and we shall take appropriate action. So twagala okubakubiriza nti mugezeeko nnyo okulaba nti temwenyigira muki mob justice. Gwe okuba otya omuntu wosanze nga bali kukuba gw'omanyi akoze eki. Then tuyina ne cases endala where this time ababbi bennyini be barranging okukuba omuntu, bakugulako omusango, then ne bamala ne bakukuba ne bagezaako n'okuliyetinga ekifaananyi nti oli mumenyi w'amateeka. So mugezeeko nnyo okwegendereza enkola eyo. So ekya mob justice kankirekeraawo, njogere ku issue ya obubbi bwa electricity, tuziyite ki, ebintu by'amasanyalaze. Tuyina operation gye tubaddeko era nga yatukoledde bulungi mu areas za Kisoga, Kigombya, Wanton ne Kawuga mu Mukono. Kawuga, yes. Era eno twagikoze nga 5 June 2026. Twakola intelligence operation ku ssaawa nga 9 ogw'ekiro, era ne tusobola okukwatayo abantu 2 okuli Mubiru Roni, ono nga wa myaka 25 nga driver, Kayondo Jamil, ono nga wa myaka 21 era nga muvuzi wa boda boda. Bano bazze babba waya z'amasanyalazi ze tutera okuyita ABC, zino eziri waggulu, aerial bundled cables. Waliwo n'obubbi bwe tutera okuwulira obwa nti babba transformer oil, babba transformers. Naye okusinga transformers balina kye bazikolako waggulu eyo, then ne bajjamu oil waazo. Naye kye twagala okulabula nti ebikwekweto bikyagenda mu maaso, nga twagala n'okulabula abo abatera, waliwo be tutera okukwata then nga bo baguzi bagula ebibbe. Bwe bamala okugula ebibbe ne batandika okusaba ekisonyiwo, nze nali simanyi nti kino kibbe. Twagala okubalabula ekintu ekibbe osobola okiraba n'otegeera nti kino kibbe, black market biki. So twagala okubalabula. Bwenva ku ekyo njagala kwogera ku issue ya abaana bagenda okutuula ebibuuzo omuli primary living examination PLE, UCE oba senior 4 ne senior 6. Okulabula kuno kye tukuleetera is because buli bwe tukwata abantu baagala nnyo okutuwoleza esi ekisonyiwo, you see, nina pressure, ebintu ng'ebyo. Abaana bagenda kutuula, abaana bagenda kusasula ssente zaabwe ez'okutuula ebibuuzo. Then gwe Mr. Headmaster oba Mrs. Headmistress okwate ssente zaabwe ozirye, tujja kusiba. Era eno message njagala njogezeeko mu ngeri. Tujja kusiba headmaster oba headmistress n'abantu bonna abaneenyigira mu kulya ssente z'abano abaana abato abalyogezaako okukola future yaabwe. Bw'oba osobola okulya ssente z'omwana agenda okutuula senior 4, you don't need to be anywhere other than in jail. So eyo message twagala tugisindike, yonebeze ewa message eno, naye kati ffe ku side ya security naffe twagadde twongereko eddoboozi. Mwebale nnyo, mwebalire ddala. Kale tufuneyoko ku bibuuzo, then yes, Jude.
Thanks for the comment on today Bureau of Examination. I think by Uganda National Examinations Board. But again, we have seen there as well now
Okay. Yes, yes. Yes. Mm. Okay. Yes, sir.
About the issue of running back,
Mm.
did you look at the forensic videos? Have you looked at the videos
Ah.
in the camera? Forensic videos? Was again what was caused this global shift. And then was it purely mistaken identity for what you and then also if you guys speak about the doctors, you have to use the cancer.
Oh, okay. Mm.
And then the man.
Okay. Mm. Yes, sir. Okay. Iri kanzi. Oh. I think that's all. We shall begin with the what my brother asked about. Actually raised the concern that some schools set their own fees. I think that is in the registration of students. Of course, that is illegal, and although, of course, UNEB can even give more clarification on this. But now that we are here, of course, that is utterly illegal, and you know how to report illegalities. There is, even as police, we have stakes in matters of the conduct of examinations. We have liaisons. UNEB is there, the ministry is there. So this one should not be a big concern. The whole idea is that whenever there is an illegality, share it with the government. We shall bring whoever transgresses or goes out of the lane, shall bring him to order. The other question was the border menace. So the border menace, we are quite aware of it as government. On behalf of security, we have done a number of things Specifically, what I can mention is police and other security agencies. We have really done a lot of engagements with the border community. We highly engage them. Some of the interventions that are required need or require a multi-sectoral approach. Like, for example, reorganization requires a number of stakeholders, including the Ministry of Works, the city and urban authorities. But the conversation is on. And working together, I know that at some point, these brothers and sisters of ours who are in this transport sector will be reorganized. But beyond reorganization, as a law enforcement officer, I would like to mention that they are not the only ones lynching people. Some people are lynched from areas even where there are no footpaths. Lynching, taking laws into your hands and exhibiting that kind of anger on a person is a moral and a psychological issue. So we need to look beyond the horizon. Let's not narrow it to actions of men who ride two-wheeled assets or who transport people from one point to another. No. They may be highly participative, but the country needs a bigger conversation around the issues of, one, morals, two, the trust of regulatory or institutions supposed to enforce these laws. We need to look into the levels of consciousness of our citizens. And of course, we can't run away from the fact that we need to talk to the people. But we also need to punish them when they transgress. Because you don't need to go through any school to know that getting a log and hitting somebody's head is bad. You don't need any school. You don't need a CLO, a community liaison officer, to first come to your village from police to teach you that carrying a log weighing around 3 kilos and hitting it on somebody's head is a bad act. If police does not tell you this, your mother and father should do. The church should have really summoned you on this. The community you live in. So let's not hide under and blame other institutions. You can't grow up like one of the fellows I saw in that video. He's an adult. You can't say that he was waiting for police to tell him not to behave the way he did. His actions were very wanton, barbaric, and very uncivilized. It calls for very serious conversations on the morals of our society, and which cannot be the responsibility of the Uganda Police Force alone. So, the border menace, that one will be addressed. But I have said that some mob justice is carried out even where there are no borders. So we really need to approach this thing with a bit of some logic and deep reasoning. If it is borders, why is it that... let's be philosophical. Let's answer the why questions. If it is borders, why is it that some mob justice is done in the markets? So this is how I can address my brother, that the border menace will be at some point addressed. and like I've said, through a multi-sectoral approach. We still answer one who asked about the videos, that could it be an issue of mistaken identity? I don't want to go there. I want to stick to one lane. Under no circumstances, there should not be any justification for taking a life, you as a mob. Whether Sydney was involved, as alleged or not, the issue is, if they suspected him so, they should have handed him over to the authorities. So the argument as to whether he was involved or not is immaterial and is a non-starter. It does not arise. And let's not regularize these arguments this way, because we are going to have mob justice. Just reject it and reject it. Simple. Even those you get with exhibits, hand them over to police. We shall not sit on the fence over this matter. We shall not give it water. Just don't kill people. Simple. So the issue, Ndugu, as whether it was mistaken identity or not, does not even arise. The issue of why mob justice, I have answered it. If you want to argue that the people have trust issues with the police and other law enforcement bodies, but there are people whom we take to, whom we arrest, even end up in getting convicted. So just refer to our annual crime report. The statistics are speaking that people get arrested. We do investigations. We find some innocent. In some areas, we find there is no evidence. But where there is evidence, we take people to court, and actually they get convicted. So why do you distrust a system that has a track record of success? I think this is more of a moral issue. So let me leave that one at that. The other issue is about the investigations police is carrying out and other agencies. I have no information yet or any useful additional contribution at the moment. So my brother, I may not add much value at the moment until I get a brief to that effect. Ransoms. What is security doing to these ransom kidnaps? Ransom kidnaps, these are also very unfortunate situations. Police is doing something very good. I may not have the statistics offhand, but in terms of making breakthroughs, our intelligence agencies have really been very good at it, and really they deserve some credit. Sometimes what we can't answer is why you do it, because it is a choice by the perpetrator or by the criminal. I don't know whether I am communicating. He jumps out of his bed and chooses to do that. The difference is that when he does it, we respond. They kidnap, they want money, they put ransoms. But at the end of the day, we try our level best, and we have registered a number of successes. That's what I can say. Ndozanziremu just mu Luganda. Nja kutandika ne question yaleeteddwa ku kintu ekikwatagana ne abantu abasetinga emiwendo egiri iligo especially mu baana abagenda okutuula ebibuuzo. Kino just njagala kyogerako nti of course bwe kibaawo tutuukirire, either otuukirira police oba n'otuukirira ebitongole ebirala oba ab'obuyinza abalala. Ku district eyina omuntu asupervisinga amasomero, ministry weeri, police weetuli. Police tuli highly involved mu bintu ebikwatagana n'enzirukanya z'amasomero, especially ne mu bibuuzo tulina ba liaison officers. So kyetusaba kyokka otutuukirira. Ekiddako ekibuuzo kibadde kikwata ku baganda bafe aba bodaboda. Nakyogeddeko nti banaye tetuteeka omugugu gwonna ku babodaboda bonna nga bwe bali. Mulimu abantu abalungi naye tulina okukkiriza nti ne industry ya bodaboda ekyalimu ebiraka bingi. Ekisooka ekyetaaga okutereezebwa, bavuga nga bwe bayagala, balwana ku mastage, bapaakinga buli wamu. So industry ekyabulamu, naye poliisi tujja kuba tukolegana n'ebitongole ebirala kubanga abayinamu omukono mu kubatereeza. Security just tuli Kiwayi, mulimu Ministry ya Works and Transport, mulimu city authorities oba Kampala Capital City Authority, local governments. So fena tulina okutuula wamu ne tutereeza issue y'aba bodaboda bano. Naye ate n'ekirala kye mbadde njagala okwogerako, omuntu asobola okukwata oguti ogunene nga guli bwe mwalabye n'akuba omuntu ku mutwe, teyeetaga kuba kusomesebwa nti alinda community liaison officer wa police asooka ajje ku kyala akusomese. Giba eba nkuzibwa y'abantu gye baava, nkuzibwa neeyisa mbi. Eneeyisa mbi, I think the best solution is olina kukwatibwa osibibwe. Era kye tuliko nakati. Waliwo bano basaalumanya be mutera okulaba asanze abantu bakyamuse naye n'ayongerako. Waliwo kerere y'obukyala nadde mpulira mu video, naye it's unfortunate. Okusomesa nako tujja kukola, because mu kusomesa okwo obulira omuntu ebibonerezo ne risk erimu. Kubanga kati omuntu shuala ayina amaka, bwe tukukwata ne tukusiba emyaka 3 amaka go genda gasuulawo. Student asoma, ebyo byonna biba bikomyawo. Then tuyina bano abalwadde, bwe bamukwata ne tukusiba mu buduukulu bwaffe ate nina sukaali. Bw'oba omanyi olina sukaali, olina omutima, olina ebintu ng'ebyo, don't engage in crime. Don't engage in crime. Avoid. Weetantala ebintu ebisobola okuteeka mu buzibu, kubanga eri gye tukutwala oba mu bukomera obwa Fandebeine prisons. It is not a 5-star hotel. Ojja kusaba Katonda, no, shall lock you. It is a bit of a very uncomfortable attraction. So you can avoid all this. So kyetwagala okwogera nti fine, tujja kukwasisa bano abantu amaanyi. Waliwo abuuziza ku era still ekya mob action eyo nti omugenzi Sydney could it have been mistaken identity oba yetaba mu ekyo nenkyogerako bwenti eyo tetugenda nayo, kubanga obanga owabali ammunition obawa amaanyi abenyigiramu. Omuntu oba yeetabye oba teyeetabye, ekyo si kikulu. Ekintu kiri nti gwe bw'oba owulira nti omuntu omususpectinga oba omukwase mu lujjudde, hand him over to authorities, then otuleke ffe tukole ogwaffe. So ekyo ekya suspicion oba omuntu omuteebereza oba nedda, muweeyo mu mikono gya gavumenti. Waliwo abuuziza nti kiki banaye mob justice zitu abantu tebalina bwesigwa mu bitongole ebikwasisa amateeka. Nedda obwesigwa balina okuba nabwo kubanga bantu bangi betukwata bw'osoma annual crime report yaffe betukwata ne tutwala mu kooti era ne tusobola n'okufuna convictions. So bwe tuba tusobola okufuna okuregisteringa convictions oba okutwala abantu mu kooti ne bafuna n'ebibonerezo, gwe kwaki olowooza nti owuwo yataafuna ekibonerezo? Bino bye mugamba nti ye bw'atuuka eri afuna bond, but bond is a constitutional right. N'ekirala kisinziira ku ki ekireetera okuwa omuntu bond. Tuzze tusomesa era bulijjo tusomesa mu community engagements zaffe nti tekitegeeza nti buli muntu agenda ku poliisi 100% ajja kuba tafuna bondi. Waliwo abafuna bondi, waliwo woosanga nga okunoonyereza kwe twetaaga okukola kujja kutwala obudde. Waliwo emisango gye tunoonyereza n'okumala emyezi n'emyezi, emisango egyetaaga okutambula. Waliwo emisango gy'osanga nga omuntu we mukutte yalina n'okuba yamba okukwata abalala. So bintu bingi sagala kudda mu kusomesa leero, naye kye twagala okutegeeza abantu nti kwata omuntu bw'oba nga omuteebereza muweeyo mu mikono gya poliisi. Bw'omwebonereza nga ggwe ojja kuba omenya etteeka, bwe tukukwatamu tokaaba. You face the consequences. Ekintu ekirala kye boogeddeko yekintu ekya waliwo yagambye nti saawadde mu Luganda ekifo n'amannya g'abantu. Amannya mbadde sigayina wano naye go njaga basindikira nga bannamawulire tusharinge nayo, naye nga kino incident ne bwogenda ku gundi yaffe details zonna kwezirimu. First information gye twasoose okubawa, kidnaps oba okuwamba kw'abantu. Okuwamba kw'abantu kuno tuzze tukola ebikwekweto nga tukwata abantu abakola okuwamba, era twalibadde tusaba era musime teams zaffe from our intelligence units. Babadde bakolanga omulimu munene era rarely incidents bwe bawamba omuntu ne tutakwata abantu ababadde involved. Eno incident ey'omukyala eri unfortunate nti bamusse. I think you have information about it or you will, and you gave some. Yeah, it's unfortunate. Naye ate tubadde tukolanga successes mu kukwata abantu abenyigiramu. Ekintu usually kitatera kusobola kusolovinga ye why, because oli azuka kumacha n'awamba omuntu n'awamba omwana. Tuzze tusomesa engeri gye tusobola okwavoidingamu incidents ezimu, naye incidents endala oyinza obutaza avoidinga naye kati nga abaana omwana atambula yekka okuva ku ssomero. Mirundi emeka gye nzize wano nga tutudde nammwe journalist n'ensomesa wano nti omwana funayo akadde omuwerekere, oba at least wabeerewo omuntu amuwerekera akomewo nga gw'omukomezaawo. Abaana be mutuma ku maduuka ekiro. So ebintu ng'ebyo naye nga community liaison officers baffe eyo mu gundi mu bantu ebintu bino byonna babisomesa era almost on an average mu mwezi twengaginga almost tubeera ne community engagements ezitaka wansi wa 30. Police, we have a number of engagements with the public. So twagala tubasabe mugoberere advice zetera okubawa. Mwebale nnyo, mwebalire ddala.
Maybe let me start with Ebola. Like he has said, before I forget, it wasn't part of what I was going to talk about. Yes, you're all aware of what the Ministry of Health is communicating. I will not go through all of that. But you will notice that the police has put up some measures at their police stations, different police stations in the country. And in Kampala Metropolitan, we put up measures where people must wash their hands and discourage handshaking. Also, with the Ministry of Health guidance, we have restricted some public events and events where people events which involve sweating, touching each other. There is a recent boxing match that we restricted because it involves people sweating and, touching each other, boxing tournament. The only events that we shall be clearing are those that have been cleared by the Ministry of Health. If you get a letter from the Permanent Secretary with proper guidelines on how the activity should go, those are the only events that we shall be clearing. So if you're planning to hold, what do they call them, concerts, you must have that clearance